Let's take you live now to the Pokuase Interchange project. It comprises a 4-tier interchange at Pokuase, a 5-kilometer Awoshi-Pokuase road, 2-kilometer Accra-Nsawam road, 2-kilometer Kwabenya road, and 10 kilometers of local roads to improve traffic flow in parts of Accra. Nancy Emefajiradosi is my colleague. He's roving today. She's going to be interacting with the project engineer on progress of work and how it has affected traffic flow on the stretch. Over to you, Nancy.
Hi, Mama V. So I am sure that you have probably used this stretch for several times. But you know the traffic situation here. We'll be delving into that. But I am currently standing 22 meters above ground. If my viewers don't know exactly what I'm talking about, I want you to look to my right. You would appreciate the length or the height at which we are standing. So we're actually standing on the tier 4 of this project, which is supposed to connect Awoshi to Kwabenya. So what you see are vehicles moving in and out from Accra towards Kumasi and also from Kumasi towards Accra. And I must say that the project is steadily moving, but I don't want to take the information out of the lips of the residence engineer. Almost every article I have read about this project has been attributed to one Mr. Bimpon, who is the residence engineer. I would want to engage him briefly and find out, all the questions that people have always wanted to ask about this project. Today we have the opportunity to do so. Thank you very much for your time, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished viewers. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
And you are doing very well. And how is the project also doing?
Well, the project is also doing very well, despite the challenges that we have. We are striding on and working day and night to ensure that we are able to deliver this project to the good people of the country.
I know that this project was supposed to complete somewhere this year. The timeline, the original timeline, you have had to do some redesigns from tier 3 to tier 4, some expansions, some drains, and all of that. I want you to tell me the journey for you and how it has been.
Well, thank you. As you rightly said, this project is expected to be completed by October, which is barely 2 to 3 months from now. And our plan is to be able to complete at least all the ramps. And when I talk about ramps, the first 3 tiers. We are currently on the 4th tier, which is the one from Awoshi or Lebu to Kwabenya. And that might take a little bit of time because of some challenges which are technical. But then for the rest of the ramps, our plan is to try and finish them before the end of the year.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the challenges, but I want you to show me all these, what we have so far. So you said we are standing on this structure.
Okay. So the project, maybe just to give you the scope of the project involves the construction of the Awoshi to Pokuase all the way to the ACP Estate Junction. And let's look from here. Okay. So here we are facing Kwabenya. So this is also a dual carriageway and ends in a single carriageway. Then so let's go to the other side, please. Okay. You watch your step. Watch that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we are heading towards the Olebu or the Awoshi section. Okay. Now watch that. Yeah. So this section goes all the way to meet the old construction, the previous construction that was done also by the Department of Urban Roads. And that is almost 5 kilometers from here. From this end to the other side is about 1.7 kilometers. So that is for the Awoshi to the Kwabenya end. Then we are also doing 2.24 kilometers of the Accra-Kumasi road. And in our short facing here is the Kumasi end. Okay. Maybe we can stand here. So the Kumasi end or the Pokuase end of the project. And then the Accra end starts all the way from the U-turn, at John Tay. So that is for this part of the road project. In addition to all this, we are providing the usual facilities like pedestrian safety facilities, like road crossing, traffic lights, crash barriers, street lights, and all that you would expect on a road of this nature. Now, one additional thing that we are doing, which is very important, for this construction, is the construction of what we call local roads. So in all the 4 quadrants of this project, we have constructed over 10 kilometers of local roads. And these are almost, let's say, 99% completed. And these were also used as diversion routes during the construction of this interchange. So, and of course, there are others like drainage facilities. And the drainage, I'm not just talking about roadside drains. We have, maybe in your shot, you can see this construction here. Yeah. That is coming all the way from the forest, that is the Guaco. And it is a river, actually. Okay. It is called the, it will come. But this Sunkwa is called the Sunkwa River. Okay. And Sunkwa River goes all the way to meet the Insaki, over 2 kilometers. And this project is constructing this to ensure that we do not have flooding, of those in the downstream section of the project. Okay. So, and then we are also providing other pedestrian facilities for those who will be crossing the Accra-Kumasi Road, because as you will see in our shot, the service road is slightly higher than the main carriageway. And this is done to ensure that people do not cross the road indiscriminately. And to prevent them from doing that, we have all these walls, but then we also have to make a provision for them. So we are providing 2 pedestrian overhead bridges, or what we call the foot bridges. Those are going to be provided, one at the ACP junction and another at the Pokuase junction. Okay. So
I was basically going to talk about the pedestrian crossing the road, okay, and also the traffic that we are currently seeing there. Okay. So you realize that after a certain point, the road is free.
That's right.
But there's a bottleneck. There's some traffic happening at that edge. Is something being done about it? What exactly is causing it, and what is the solution to that problem?
Well, this is being caused by the public transport operators. Okay. That's popularly referred to as the trotros. These trotro drivers, instead of stopping and allowing the traffic to flow, just stop in the middle of the road to pick passengers. However, when this project is completed, they will be on the right-hand side, which is the service road, okay? And that service road has bus bays. Okay. But again, at the end of the day, it is all about enforcement. We are going to make the provision by engineering it. I believe they are going to have education, but enforcement is going to be critical. Because if they stop on those roads, they are going to create a backlog and then create more traffic on the road. And the problem. But then the main road from Accra to Kumasi, which is what we call the first tier, that will be free. Okay. That will be free. That will not have all those encumbrances because there will be nowhere to stop. Oh. And if you stop there, then it means that you are breaking, of course, wherever you stop, you'll be breaking the law. Yeah. But then if you stop there, you'll have no passengers to pick. So there's no point in stopping in that area. Okay. Yeah.
So let me just bring you back to you talking about this particular stretch that you talk about the river, the drainage. Yes. How was it part of the original plan? Give me details as to how it all came about.
Well, thank you very much. We started with a certain amount of money, but as we went along, we realized that we were going to experience flooding on at the downstream side of the project, and we do not want to be irresponsible, so far as the project is concerned. So the African Development Bank, who by the way are the sponsors of this project, provided extra funding for the construction of major storm drains. This is not the only one. This we've done about 700 meters or one. They are providing money to construct an extra 1.2 kilometers of storm drain, 3 meter by 2 meter. There are other storm drains within the communities where they are experiencing flooding. Those drains are also going to be constructed. We also have another one, behind us that comes into the Guaco. That is also going to be part of it. So, as part of the project, this is a road project, but then we are also seeing that there's a need to provide other facilities which would enhance the construction that we are providing, not just providing the road and leaving. We want to make sure, because one of the objectives of this project is to enhance the living conditions of those within the project catchment area. So if after the project we have flooding, then we wouldn't have been able to deliver our mandate, for this construction.
I still see that there are some homes that are still along this stretch.
Yeah.
Are there plans? Because I know that some monies were allocated for them to be paid, some people to be paid, but I see some buildings still here. After everything, will they still be here, or there are plans to still move them further away?
Well, for the buildings here, they are not in the right of way.
Okay.
All the structures which were in the right of way have been demolished.
Okay.
And the recent one was the Skyview Hospital, the one, in our shot on the Accra-Kumasi Road on the right-hand side. That main structure will also go.
The white building?
The white building. We have already demolished one. It is left with this one. We are giving him some time to pack up, and then we'll demolish it. Okay. So all the structures which were in the right of way, which were impeding the flow of the work, have been demolished. And the good news is that I think I said sometime back in December or so last year that the monies for these works have been provided and they have been paid. Those that are left are those who, for one reason or the other objected. But then the good news is that as far back as about 2 months ago, they've all accepted and the processing of their checks are underway.
That's good news to hear, but I am sure that you're smiling right now, but I'm sure that during the course of this project, you face some challenges, some difficulties. Are you able to tell me, if not all?
Well, like any civil engineering project, like I was saying, you design, you have conditions and you think that everything is going to be smooth, but it doesn't go that way. And indeed, this project has suffered a lot of challenges. But the good news is that we have overcome them. The removal of what we call PAPs, project affected persons, like structures on the road, hawkers, and all these people, was a major challenge. Now, the diversion of the road, this is the main Accra-Kumasi road. Over 40,000 vehicles ply this road each day. Now, to move these vehicles without causing major traffic is only going to take a miracle, because the Accra-Kumasi road has always been a traffic, and that is why we are constructing this road. So that was also, the management of the traffic. Then we also had a lot of utilities, electricity, even the grid core line, what you see in your shot, had to be relocated. Okay. It was first straddling across this bridge, that is the top tier. So we had to move it to the left-hand side and then cross at a point where we have enough clearance. So the grid core, the 330 kV line, was also moved. Others, well, probably the latest is COVID. COVID-19 has presented us with a subtle but very formidable challenge. Why am I saying so? When the COVID came, we decided, that was sometime in March when there was a lockdown, we decided that nobody should travel, because we have a lot of itinerant workers who have come in from all over the country, and because we also did not know how the transmission was taking place, we decided that nobody should go home. Unfortunately, some decided that they were going to go at all costs. So once they left, they were automatically off. They were not allowed. So for about 2-3 months, we had a reduction of over 100 workers. And that really caused a major setback. But somewhere along the line, we were just thinking, so what do? We cannot employ new people. So we decided that we would now go through the protocols of employing, but before you are employed, you are tested, you go into isolation. If you are found to be negative, you are employed to start working. Otherwise, then you have to go into quarantine. I hope I'm using the terminologies correctly. So you just have to ensure that you are tested negative before you are employed. And that has helped. So for the past about 2 months or so, we've been able to, revamp our strength in terms of labor strength. And now we have a lot of new workers, especially of those who work on the bridges. That's where our challenge, has been. Yeah. So,
well, you talk about the challenges, but after all of this, I see that work is still ongoing.
That's right.
The deadline at first used to be in April 2020, and then you moved it to October.
That's right.
October is just 2 months away. Are we still going to meet the October 2020? deadline?
Well, I've said somewhere that it is a challenge, but then we are determined to meet this deadline, but not to complete the entire project.
Okay.
Not to complete the entire project by October. At least all the left hands, okay, of the ramps, and I'll explain to you what the left hands are very soon. All the left hands of the ramps should be ready, by then. What we call substantial completion. By that time, we are hoping that substantially will be completed. The only challenge will be the fourth tier, because the fourth tier requires some experts from China to help us in the, here we are doing what we call the balanced cantilever bridge, where we don't have scaffold supporting our bridge. And we are just moving, just like we are here now. We're moving to go and meet that pier.
Okay.
Okay, this is over 40 meters.
We'll be moving it slowly.
We will be moving it slowly,
okay.
2.5 to 3 meters at a time.
Wow.
And at every movement, we need to do what we call deflection checks to check and ensure that it is stable before we move again. That is where the challenge is going to be. But then we are hoping that this would also, if the lockdown, well, there's no more lockdown, but then if our borders are opened, then we should be able to bring these guys quickly in. But then I must say that the contractor has written to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, and they are assisting, to get these guys, in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so you talk about, you said you're going to explain what the left hands were. So
yes. So let's move here, and please watch your step. Yeah. Okay. Mind the gap. Okay. So this is the ramp coming from Kumasi towards Kwabenya, and that is the left one down there, and that is level 2. Okay. That is level 2. So it comes all the way from Kumasi. Those going to Kwabenya will make a left turn here, and then we'll move that way. Okay. For the right turn, that has already been done. So the right turn will join. This is the last piece that will be done. They will join those coming from Accra. Okay, who are also doing a left turn towards Awoshi. Okay. They will meet them at this point, and then they will go to Awoshi. Now, for those coming from Awoshi, they will be using the ramp on the left-hand side, okay. And then they would also come, make a left turn to Kumasi. Oh. That will make a left turn. Okay. So this is a continuation of that ramp to Kumasi. Okay. And then those from Kwabenya would also make a left turn. Maybe we can go there and have a look at the left turn to.
Okay. All right. So we are walking towards.
They would make a left turn all the way to Accra Central or to Accra. So. And then the last tier, which is the fourth tier on which we are standing, will take us from all the way from the Awoshi end to Kwabenya. Okay. So you see that one. We call it Rambi. Rambi, so that one. And that is on the third tier. Okay. That is the third tier. The one from Awoshi to Kumasi and the one from Kwabenya to Accra are on the third tier. And those from Accra to Awoshi and from Kumasi to Kwabenya are on the second tier. And then the last tier will be the Accra to Kumasi road. Okay. Yes. So that's where... Down there. Okay. Yeah, okay. Down there. That's the first tier. So that will be at grade, okay. At the very last.
Okay, so that means that, so if I understand you now, you're saying that all those ones will be completed by October, but this tier 4 will not.
The El Clote interchange in South Africa. This is the second one in Africa that is for a 4-tier interchange, and you can Google it and find out, El Clote. And in West Africa or the south of the Sahara, we don't have anything like this. Yeah, 4-tier interchange. Yeah.
All right. So, Mama V, I'm excited to be here because when we got here, Mr. Bimpon was telling me that I'm the first journalist. I'm here with my camera technician. He's also the first camera technician. My driver is also here. We are the first batch of journalists
yeah, that's true.
in this country to have been able to climb this tier 4 structure. It wasn't easy, Mama V, but I am glad we are here and we are seeing everything for ourselves. So for now, we know that the project, all the other projects will be done by October, but the tier 4 is what will not be able to complete by that deadline. So Mama V, that's the situation here. I'm sure that very shortly we'll go down and show you the traffic situation on this particular stretch of the road.
Okay, but Nancy, book Engineer Bimpon. Tell him that's my stretch. I need a tour. After work, I'll come for a tour myself. We'll come back to you and gauge the traffic situation on the ground proper. That's Nancy.
I'm going to tell him.
All right, great. Nancy Emefajiradosi roving for us today at the Pokuase Interchange project. There you have it with all the updates.